I'm Johan Rashibega here in Holyoke Media from One Court Plaza in our new media center that is officially opening this Friday, May 19th. And because of that, possibly you have heard, we're going to have a grand opening, a grand party with live music. And guess who is with us today? Fabiola Méndez, who is going to be the responsible of this joyful celebration with music. And it's so important for us that Fabiola is going to be our first performer of our inaugural session with everybody here, because Fabiola is the clear representation of what we want to do here in this media center, to be able to bring people that represents our own community. When we talk about that 54% of Puerto Ricans living in the city of Holyoke, and also bringing fusions and proposals that are connected with identity, music tradition, and new explorations in music genres like jazz and other music blendings that are essentially part of what Puerto Rico does, musically speaking, everywhere, forever. So, Fabiola, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. And how do you feel about this opportunity of being with us for the grand opening of Holyoke Media?
Hello, Johan. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be part of the grand opening of this new space and to bring the cuatro, to bring the music of Puerto Rico. And as you said in that beautiful introduction, a lot of other genres that make who we are and that are also part of how we keep evolving as society in the new spaces, the new sounds, the new topics, the different things that influence us. It's again an honor for me to bring that musically to all of you and to spend some time and just celebrate this new opening.
Just to give a little bit of background about who you are and what is that people can expect to enjoy when they're here for the grand opening. Tell us a little bit about you, and particularly also touching on the importance of your accomplishments as a professional musician and composer, being graduated from Berklee School of Music, playing the cuatro, which is the most important representation in music from Puerto Rican identity and culture, as well as one of your most recent accomplishments being the composer of the music for the PBS Kids series Alma's Way, which is, I think, one of the most important and outstanding representations of culture and identity through music that is masterful to hear and such a joy with. It's additionally a such beautiful TV series. So share with us everything about your work.
Yes, life has gifted me with many wonderful opportunities, and all of them starting with my first encounter with the cuatro, which is when I was 6 years old in Puerto Rico. I'm from the town of Caguas, and my family would always celebrate, especially around the holiday time, we celebrated a tradition called Promesa de Reyes, in which we had a lot of different trovadores and musicians that would come and play traditional music. So I grew up around that. And by the age of 6, my parents were like, it seems like Fabi is really liking the cuatro. So I had the opportunity of learning from a lot of cuatro masters back in the island. And by the age of 18, I had the blessing of receiving a scholarship to attend Berklee. And I moved to Boston. And that was very different from the mountains of Puerto Rico. But bringing the cuatro, bringing this instrument that is not only the national instrument of Puerto Rico, but also represents the sound that many of us identify as home. Because it's a native instrument. It was powerful for me to come here and connect with the Puerto Rican community in Massachusetts in general, at first in Boston, but then I had the opportunity of visiting Holyoke and feeling immediately like I was at home. The spirit in Holyoke just feels like home, and having the cuatro and connecting with people who know what it is, and also with people who don't know what it is, but come to appreciate and understand how powerful it is and how much it means for us. It's definitely it's the biggest honor, I think, as a musician, to be able to connect with people in such a deep way. And I'm so looking forward to doing that again this Friday.
What will be some of the different experiences the public will be able to enjoy listening to your music? That will include, of course, your own compositions from your two album releases, but also selections from the so wide repertoire of traditional Latin American music.
Yes, this performance is going to be like a musical journey. We're going to be listening to the folk genres, the traditional genres of Puerto Rico. But then we're also going to be able to explore other genres within Puerto Rico, like bomba and plena, and then explore how all these genres that we consider traditional take a place in other genres and with other chords and rhythms and other type of progressions, exploring different topics, not only the joy that we always sing about in many of our traditional songs, the love for the land, the love for our identity, but also celebrating the blackness of many of us, celebrating our ancestry, celebrating our experiences as diaspora Puerto Ricans and what that means. All of this is going to be in a trio format with the cuatro, a drum set, and a bass. I'll also be singing. So yeah, again, it's gonna be a journey. We're gonna dance, we're gonna sing, we're gonna, be calm and listen and connect with our identity.
What it means to you being able to perform in the grand opening of a place like is the Holyoke Media Center, which is a place that has been developing and awaited for so many years and finally is happening, particularly knowing that it's a place that will allow community where the city of Holyoke having 54% of Latinos and 98% of those being from Puerto Rican heritage. What it means to you being able to share your talents and also to reconnect, because it's not the first time that you're having here in Holyoke
Yeah,
performing, but this one becomes a very special occasion that has additional layers of meaning.
absolutely. And I'm beyond honor, especially because I get to bring the cuatro, which again is an instrument that represents so many of us as Puerto Ricans, and you know, making those five double stings vibrate in that space. I feel like it's almost like a calling to all of our ancestors and to all of our stories, and to celebrate all of that and open the space with that. I think is going to be beyond special, and hopefully, whatever comes after this is just always going to bring the vibration up and make us again feel celebrated and feel like we have a space where we can be all that we are and that we can connect with all that we are.
You have been busy, particularly with the production of the music that you compose and perform for the PBS Kids series Alma's Way. So, a little bit on that. And also, what else is happening professionally on what keeps you busy? Because you are always doing something. You are not of just being there and do nothing. You are always constantly creating and doing something new. So what's happening?
Yes, I'm always in motion. So about Alma's Way, we are actually on season 2. And for those of you who don't know the show, it's a children animated series that showed on PBS Kids. And the trauma is basically, or the plot of the story is basically about this girl that lives in the Bronx. Her name is Alma, and she is Puerto Rican. So the production of the producers of the show wanted to have traditional music as part of the show. They wanted the sounds of Puerto Rico to be present, as well as the sounds of New York and the sounds of the Bronx and all the many different cultures that are portrayed and celebrated on the show as well. But it being, the protagonist being a Puerto Rican girl, I've had the opportunity of writing aguinaldos, of writing other folk genres, bomba, plena, and also playing the cuatro, playing the tiple, which is another Puerto Rican folk instrument. So imagine you're watching TV and then suddenly you hear the sound of the cuatro as part of a cue or a musical moment within the series. And then besides that, I'm also working on my own music and my own projects. I'm currently in post production of my third album, which also celebrates a lot of the folk genres and are revisited from a young perspective, from a perspective of an Afro Latina that has moved and that also considers herself to be part of the diaspora. So exploring a little bit of that in that album. And then I'm also on my educational side of things, because that's what I studied actually at Berklee, education. So I'm also doing workshops and traveling around the U.S., teaching people about all these different genres and styles, and connecting with the rhythms, with the music, with the lyrics, with the chanting, the playing, and just educating people a bit more about this special instrument that is the cuatro.
And when you mention your side as an educator and also presenting different genres, as it is something that is part of a Puerto Rican culture and Latin American culture in general. We were talking before this interview about how sometimes the perception of what is Latin music it goes mostly on the perception of what is consumed in the mainstream. Mm-hmm. But that is only just a speck of the wide array of different options, genres, performers, composers, and even historical moments that are represented through music. So what it means to you, this mission of not only creating your own music, but also keep spreading what it represents, music from the Latino perspective?
I think it's important for us to always connect with our roots, right? So if we were to be trees that bloom throughout our life, if we're not connected deeply to our roots, then the tree is not going to grow as tall. The branches are going to get weak and the leaves are going to fall off. So I think it's so important to understand where we come from, where our people come from, right? The people who carved the way for us to be where we are right now. But then also to continue developing our culture, to continue. I always like to define the folk music as to what's happening right now. Sometimes we think folk is in the past, folk is for a certain region, or, the countryside, or for older folks. But folk, for me, is what happens every day. And we understand where our people came from. We understand where we come from. But then how are we going to use that, and how are we going to continue moving forward, celebrating our culture, and again, educating ourselves first. And that's why I think it's so important to do all these community-based events within our groups and our communities before we even try to spread it all over the rest of the world. So that way we understand, we're aware of who we are. So yeah, I think that's why it's so important for me to continue playing this instrument, especially this instrument that a lot of people have the perception that is for older folks. The cuatro is just as relevant and will continue to be as relevant as long as there's people who want to learn it, who want to play it, who want to showcase it, to listen to it. It won't die. It will just keep evolving.
So, Fabiola, it's just a matter of waiting for Friday, May 19th. So you will be here with us and you will be performing in our grand opening. And we can't wait, because I know it's going to be a really meaningful and beautiful experience to have. And I just want to thank you for being available, to being on board to join us for this celebration, but also for everything that you are doing as an artist, as a composer, as an example, and even a leader, role model for our youth, to see how what sometimes is perceived, as you mentioned, as things that may be only for a specific generation or for a specific group of people, it is part of what it means, culture and representation. And seeing your success and seeing your accomplishment and your achievements is just another reason to celebrate that. I hope we can share all of that this Friday in the grand opening.
It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see you all this Friday, May 19th at 4 p.m.